going on? I was about to say, man, we on at least on Twitter having some complications. There'll be a delay. It'll be on Facebook Live in its entirety in a little bit later today. But right now we're on YouTube. We're on the YouTube. We're on Twitter, Periscope. This is your boy at Big Game James _36, and this is at Big Games BS, brought to you by thehumidor.com. Go to thehumidor.com, type in Sports Den at checkout for 20% off. It's the go-to website for really all things cigars. ABC Fine Wine and Spirits, the go-to place for all things, really, all things liquor. If you ain't getting it from ABC, you ain't getting cigars from thehumidor.com, you're spending entirely too much. Monday's show getting a lot of good feedback, jam-packed, a lot of good stuff coming up here on today's show. We got Bobby going into the weekend. He's about to be dropping some big content.
Hey, what's good, everybody?
My guy Rob Ward, comedian, travels the country with one of my good friends, Benji Brown. He's going to be dropping an interview. Rob is extremely talented comedian.
Yeah, Rob was real funny. We recorded the podcast a couple weeks ago, but I had to get some deals worked out, had to get some relationships worked out before I started dropping them again. But the writer's block interviews with comedians over at the Comedy Zone will be back, and I'm excited. So yeah, YouTube, maybe Bobby Comedy, maybe Bobby on Instagram and everything. Go check that out. I'll post a clip today.
Before we get into a lot of other news that surrounded the sports den and really the sports world, in particular Florida State, there's some hated clock. There's some stuff that we got to drop with our sponsor. We should have some more gun videos dropping, and how joke about some of that stuff as Miles is editing that. Hopefully we'll get that.
You shoot the flamethrower, the Charizard?
No, I've already shot a flamethrower before, and that's an experience. Like, if you haven't shot one, you should. But I'll talk about what I did shoot during our Hated Clock segment. I'm going to give them all their goodness. Even though this is something that I truly do hate, and it's a tragic, sad situation. We talked about the passing of Dwayne Haskins, I believe it was a couple of weeks ago. But more information continues to leak out. I actually just listened to the 911 call, and we got to figure out a little bit better job on how to be better at being humans, man. And I'm sure 911 operators get hit with a lot of shit on a day-to-day. But I listened to two calls. One of them was kind of comical in the sense that it was the baby, and the baby shot somebody, and then called 911 and said that dude doesn't have to die today. And the 911 operator, like, asking all these different questions when the most pertinent information had been relayed. I shot somebody in the leg at my house. You need to go send somebody to come so he doesn't bleed out. And during that time, they're just consistently asking him a bunch of stupid questions. And the fact that he was so calm was amazing, because I've never shot anybody, but like, it's still a wild thing for people to have to continue to answer these things, and you want them to remain calm so that you can help them. But today, they released the 911 audio. I don't know protocols, but I do know when someone's calling you frantic and they're asking for help, they're saying stuff, they're giving you, because you can look up their location. They can pinpoint it. The reason why I know that is for years, if you prank call 911, they will send people out to you. And so they do know where you're at. They can't figure out where you're at. But I don't think you should ever have to get that information from a 911 operator that your husband died. And and there's other speculation that we can go with. There was a woman in the car. Have no idea what his relationship was with the woman. Don't really care, because at the end of the day, they're dead, or he's dead. But I'm gonna tell you this, if somebody calls up here at Goodfellas and you answer the phone, Bobby, and they just happen to say, "I'm James's wife" or "I'm James's this," and you can't truly verify that, and you just gave information, that's like illegal.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Like it's like the cop's job is to like, all right, I'll take your information. We'll go and look. Like somebody needed to tell her, but like if I'm telling you, like, yo, I just need somebody to go check on my man or check on somebody on this. Like that could have been anything. That could have been a jealous chick trying to figure stuff out.
I guess that you see that angle.
Yeah, it's just a lot of other different things that can get called. But I'm also looking at it from the standpoint of she was being genuine. Like I hate to break it to you, like we've already said somebody there that because what can you do to calm that person? Like they're far away, they're this. Typically, they like to have those conversations one on one, and I'm not faulting the 911 operator; they did their job. But I just think, like some of the stuff we gotta kind of approach it in a manner with a little bit more humanity. Yeah, that was dark. That kind of sucked to kind of hear and have to talk about. But on a lighter note, it's Wednesday, it's hump day. I'm sure Twitter's gonna be filled with humps and rumps and things like that. So
yeah, the way this man transitions, how the show started. I see what you did there. Talking about cars could be called wagons, and it's going to be some wagons on the Wednesday online. I see what you did there.
I'm level with you. I didn't really go that deep.
I tried to give you that.
I appreciate that.
I appreciate that transition was crazy.
I appreciate that. I just know a good ass can make a lot of people smile. You can make a rainy day bright.
I tried to give you that.
If you ever want to know how to cheer me up, just be like, hey man, don't actually never mind, don't do that because some of y'all would take that way the wrong way. But again, a note for sports then. Today is a special day. There's a at Micanopy. I'm gonna spell it for you because I'm still trying to figure out how to pronounce it the right way. I didn't come up with a damn name. But it's at MICCONOPE 1815 is a new NIL opportunity. Take it from your highness. But Mike Underwood is the guy's name who pushed this out. He is one of the founders of Micanopy. It's a new niche NIL platform set to change the lives of FSU student athletes. Today, Micanopy 1851 LLC, a new NIL platform focused on the long-term professional and life skill development of Florida State University athletes, announces its arrival at FSU. Micanopy 1851 was developed to offer student athletes access to not only NIL earning opportunities, but access to successful alumni who in turn provide real-life educational resources in areas such as investment strategies for young adults, how to build a personal brand, how to leverage entrepreneurship for long-term success, among other critical topics. Micanopy 1851 recognizes the needs of student athletes are not limited to financial enrichment, but moreover, their desire to acquire life skills that will serve them well beyond the playing field. On the launch of Micanopy 1851, co-founder Mike Underwood states, "We are thrilled to bring Micanopy 1851 to life. We believe the word Micanopy, which is native Seminole for young chief or leader," so some verbiage in there, "embodies the spirit of our platform as we endeavor to help build the next generation of leaders here at FSU." Underwood went on to add Micanopy 1851 is here to complement the other NIL platforms already in existence at FSU. Co-founder and former FSU player James Coleman sums up, "The unique thing about being a Seminole is you are a part of a community that has become successful over a short period of time. To sustain success long term, those of us who have gone before must reach back and help guide the future leaders toward the path of greater success on and off the field." Coleman concluded, "Who better to teach a Nole how to be a Nole than a Nole?" And, based on they'll have the website will be launched on April 25th. And currently we are negotiating different sponsorship deals with a lot of notable companies, and there will be about 10 athletes once we do the launch. It's going to be different. It's going to be unique. I ain't just giving bags, baby.
You can't hear it, but I'm giving you a round of applause right now because you don't got the headphones on. Congratulations. So how long have you been working on that? How long has this been?
So actually, I'm glad you asked me that, man. That really helps me explain the true vision, not just of this, but of how it's gone. And I've helped a lot advise, and I've been able to use through my media resources, things and connections with Domos. College cities. So there's a Tallahassee
in the
NFT space. Amari Gaynor is one of the first ones.
I was gonna make jokes, but go ahead.
No, like it's weird. It's weird as shit. I
was gonna say, y'all just start with the dirt and hills. I was trying to see what
I thought about just calling it Magnolia Apartments, South City. I'm actually going. Actually, you know what? I'm going to create.
Not you putting them in college apartments. In the NFT space.
Yeah, I'm going to actually create Rockbrook in the NFT space, which is the neighborhood that I grew up in Tallahassee.
You gotta have a West 10. That's where all the shorties be.
Definitely, it's going to be popping in the imaginary world. Whatever. The point is, I helped them with that. I love those guys, T. Lee and Willie Lyles, and those guys are doing really good stuff. But then I got approached by like an attorney. He unfortunately passed, but he hit me up around October of last year, and he was saying, like, man, how much money do these young men and women really need to make? And I was like, man, if you can really give these guys about $2,000 to $3,000 extra a month, like as a college student and what they already have, you've literally made them like college rich. And a lot of people see these numbers, these multi-million-dollar. And as a guy who's negotiated multiple NIL deals from the side of an athlete and from the side of, we had a college athlete signed the fifth quarter. They just sucked that year, so we didn't pursue it. Like, because it's tough to want to talk about when you're on a 5-game fucking losing streak.
Yeah.
Now, they ended up turning around, but it was dead at that point. It ain't for what you think. And a lot of these kids ain't really going for these numbers that everybody believes that they're going for. Now, if I can get $1 million, I'm going to get $1 million. But that's few and far in between. So I told him this, and he was in the process of creating all these different things. And his leverage was going to be, we'll get these kids the money, then we'll go find some sponsors. We'll get backers to get them the money. They'll work for fifth quarter, some of the other media outlets. Then they'll go in, they will go, and if we find like a Guthrie's to pay them $2,000, then Guthrie's will be the people they're sponsoring. Their minimum would have been $2,000 with the upwards of whatever we can raise for them, with the idea that he would possibly represent them if they ever go to the NFL as an agent, as some other stuff. And that was one way. And his thought was, we're going to have a one-stop shop for student athletes. And what I mean by that is, change is cool to cop, but more important is lawyer fees. And that's another JC bar. But like, you're gonna get, like we just talked about AR-15. Oh, we didn't talk about that. That needs to be in my 8 o'clock. How people? I'll try to get back to that. Y'all keep me on track with that. But Anthony Richardson, a kid we just did an interview with, phenomenal kid, did something stupid. 103 miles per hour, and like that's fast. And what should have happened was, if he had an attorney, that'd have been great. And I don't know how he got out of it, but like that having an attorney at that moment is a really, really good benefit. So we were going to cover limited coverage from attorneys, branding, all these kind of different things like that. So those are the things that we would really work on. Now, I literally was trying to get a hold of him in February. I found about his passing at the same time, like I was at my actual uncle's funeral in New Jersey. So I figured it was dead. I fly back and I'm in Jacksonville, and I get a call from Mike Underwood. And me and Mike went shooting in November. Our relationship is basically he follows me on social media. A lot of people see Bobby. A lot of people see how I move and how I make the connections and different things like that. And we started talking about this, and it's literally the same exact plan that me and my guy Aaron were discussing. So um, this kind of means a lot more to me because in death, somebody else's vision is being brought to life, and I think it's a dope opportunity. And Mike is kicking ass out there using the relationships, and the relationships are this: FSU has boosters that are called Micos, and those are your big time high level boosters. Like they're giving somewhere between $1 million or whatever it is, and if you're willing to give $1 million to a university, that means you've made a lot of money and a lot of wise business decisions, or somebody's made some wise business decisions, and you obviously care about the well-being of student athletes. So if we can get these Micos with these young student athletes, then we're gonna be all right. Because if you can show somebody how to make that $1 million that you invested, then we can have a healthy program. Because I stole something from my boy OG Rob Deloach. It's not about the next 4 years. It's about the next 40 years. And when I heard Rob Deloach talk about that when his son Kalen was coming in and what he was being preached to by other schools, I'm like, I gotta show guys how to do this, and I gotta be a part of it. I'm not. Shit, the sound going in and out. We got that fixed.
That's what we were working on a second ago.
They can still hear you. It's coming from this instead of
we got
that mic.
Okay, so on the SoundCloud we're gonna be straight.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. So if you missed some of that, we'll make sure we cut that up and put that out. Sorry about that, but we just want to make sure that gets out there. But the biggest thing is this: is that again, I guess I got a quote. It's gonna be quoting how I got my nickname JC from Jay Z. Everybody can show you how to do it, but they never did it. I'm a walking NIL deal. Everything I've ever got is from the mud and from marketing. I understand this. I also understand how to connect with people from different generations, different backgrounds, and different things like that. As a black care what you are. And you can say whatever the fuck you want to say about me. My record speaks for itself. Go see what I do in the community. I don't see your ass in the streets with me. So I don't look like, but you, and I hate to say Will because, obviously Will smacking the fuck out of Chris Rock and shit has put him in a bad stance. But the guy who brought this up is that Carlton Banks can't go to West Philly and bring in the kids from West Philly, but he can't talk to the kids in Bel Air. Will Smith can talk to the kids in West Philly and talk to the kids in Bel Air. And I think that's what we need to start doing, and we need to start building each other up and having a true community when it comes to all of this. So during the day, it'll be a couple other different things, but I'm gonna tell you like this: I got lunch for the first major FSU outlet that carries this shit because they all got the press release. But what I want people to see is if it's not picked up by the majors, you're going to see why FSU is behind. Because these motherfuckers are so petty about shit that if it's not their idea, they don't want to talk about it. And I've had cats, like it's a reason why you've never seen one of my book bag drives on War Chant, on 247, Tomahawk Nation, all these other motherfuckers. And if you don't believe me, and if I'm wrong, prove me fucking wrong. You want to write about FSU and the struggles and the successes, but you don't want to be a part of making that shit great. The difference between me and a bunch of y'all is that you can Google me, my name gonna come up attached to FSU. Getty Images is gonna attach me to FSU. I can cover other schools, but everybody's gonna know that I'm affiliated with FSU. Your ass can get a new job tomorrow and never have to talk about FSU again. That's the difference. And again, It's not their job, but you can try to, you can either cover it and help, or you can fuck around and get ran over. Because that's how I feel about it. Because things that I've had to do behind the scenes to just rectify stupid shit is not a waste of my time. It just shows the love that I have. How many deals I've had to look over, how many things I've had to broker for these kids. Like, I don't get this is a real not get a penny. This ain't no saying I ain't getting a penny and taking 35% of these jits' money. It's a legitimate thing where I'm just getting a smile on my face because I was able to help a kid not make a bonehead decision for the next 6 months, when it's a really 6 to 18 month decision. And the biggest thing, if you follow me and you follow my steps or whatever it is, you either gonna do that shit or you're not gonna do that shit. And that's on anything. And the crazy thing is once we get this thing figured out, I'm gonna show other schools how to do it. And really don't give a fuck if like I get anything back from it, because all I care about is the student athlete. I talked about it when we talked about Grambling. There are other student athletes who are doing things, but it's capitalism. I'm not knocking them, because capitalism has a level of exploitation for you to make your money. But I will say this, exploitation is exploitation regardless of who's fucking doing it to you. The one thing I'm not going to do is fucking athlete over. Get your bread. Let me show you how to get that bread. If you want to, if you're tired of being in situations where the producers all up in the videos, all up in the songs, come holler at me, Kanopi 1851. Real ones will understand that that reference right there. And my favorite color is red. I'm just not bald head yet. And I do like cigars just like him and a good strong whiskey. So we're going to treat it like it's a fullback. We're going to knock the fuck out of shit. And we're going to go out here and we're going to have a lot of fun. And we're going to raise a lot of hell. So we'll be on a bunch of other different things. But it kind of goes, now this segue is a lot better than my ass segue. So
okay, thank God.
This segue,
that the ass
yeah,
was crazy.
This segue is, I mean, out of babies being born same time
Oh
man
my
is murdered.
God,
So
man. Come on, you're not gonna nonsense.
Anyway,
you're not gonna nonsense out of this.
So I say all this to say is that the NIL space is fucking bananas right now. One, if you listen to the Sports Den for any given amount of time, it's two favorite golfers of me and Denny Thompson. I care about two fucking golfers. I don't care about them as people. I care about them as golfers, and I care about their stories. Eldrick Tiger Woods, I don't give a fuck what Eldrick identifies as. I don't care what he is black to me. He will always be black. He might have an identity crisis, but I'm not having one for him. That man is darker than me. Bro, you are like, no, it's not me no black poppy, me Dominican. Nah, bro, you are colored. That is what your father checked. And when your dad was around, he had to drink out of a water fountain, just like my great granddaddy had to drink out of. But John Daly's my second favorite. I love John Daly with a passion. He is a cigarette smoking, beer drinking, going out this motherfucker playing golf better than anybody else. He is playing golf the way that the gods intended it to be played. Drunk. And he is debaucherous. He's chasing bad bitches. He's doing all the things that everybody wishes they can do in the body of a portly old white man.
Yeah. I will say that's my I've never been a big golf guy. They do got some very beautiful looking girls who be out there in the golf today. And even the ones at the little country clubs out here in Jax. I'll be out there more.
You know why?
Why?
It's bread, man.
Yeah. That and funny guys.
You can lose a good fun. No doubt. Like you either gotta make a chick laugh,
yeah,
or you gotta make it, or you gotta pay for it.
I've been having them make them show me how to swing. Like, I pretend I never played golf before, which I have. It's been one night.
I won't lie, man. My grandmother said the only 6 inches that matter is how thick it is, and she's talking about $100 bills. Because for those who don't know, just measure $100 bill 6 inches, guys. Like that's all that meant. Like I'm telling you, dude. You can get the girl for a second.
Are
you
all
can
bills 6 inches though?
Yes, but it's
okay.
Now listen, if you got a 1, it better be super thick. If you got a 100, it don't have to be quite as thick, but it just needs to be that.
Oh, multiple of them.
Yeah,
I get it now.
They're all the same size, but it's the thickness is what she was saying is the girth. My grandma got bars. Very vulgar, but my grandma, that's why I love her. I bring up John Daly not just because he's the GOAT of the common man. John Daly, like people say your sons look like I look like my father when you put us together. If I cut my hair low, I probably look more like him right now. I was looking at pictures the other day and I was like, yo, I don't see it. But then everybody else told me like, nah, dog, y'all got the nose, the facial structure, all that shit. Like, okay, fine, whatever. John Daly's son is literally John Daly. Like that is John Daly. Like that is a doppelganger. This man, and this is where I say fathers men be a father to your son. John Daly's son is a golfer at Arkansas, and he has a Hooters NIL deal.
Oh yeah.
Who better to have a Hooters NIL deal than the Dalys?
Yeah, okay. I had no idea who that white boy you sent to the group chat was.
Man,
So
that
I'm
white
glad
boy,
you figured
what
it
I'm
out
saying,
now.
that white boy got a deal, man.
Yeah.
And it's a deal. Like I think the problem with a lot of these NIL deals is people are getting these deals and the brands don't match. Which I think is why a lot of these kids, oh, you gonna pay me this, pay me this, pay me this. But they're trying to sell something that doesn't matter. This man is an ambassador for fucking Hooters, man. Hooters. This is awesome.
Yeah.
And if he's anything close to what his dad is, he's gonna be great. Oh, let me rephrase that. Like if he drinks half as much as his dad drank, which means he drinks 3 times as much as the normal American, that means he actually can be a consistent top 50 golfer. Which means he's gonna get paid, bro. Background is he loves banging Perkins waitresses, which I personally think that's the key to success. He was winning consistently when he was banging different Perkins waitresses. When he tried to be this saint and this Christian, it just didn't work with him. Like, I need you to be who you are, dog. I need you to be a great golfer. I'll be my son's role model off the field. Well, actually, no, I will find my son a person that I want him to be like off the field. But I'm telling you, I need Tiger Woods to be a good golfer. I love John Daly. John Daly is somebody I can have multiple beers with. So I don't think you can just have a beer with John Daly. I know he got stories, and I know his son has seen it all. Now, I think they could have got some better chicks to be with him on the picture. But hey, to quote a guy that used to be a quarterback here, he's a B-level quarterback, fucking a bunch of C-level talent, as much C-level talent as he can get, and living his best life.
C-level talent had to be the best personalities, though. C-level talent.
Listen, remember, Patrice O'Neal scale. Don't go from 0 to 10. Go from 0 to 30. She could be to get a C. What does that got to be? She could be a 15. Yeah, 15. A 15 in the 20, like in the mids. So like you got a good mid, and if you really do good, you got a fine ass average chick. Which ain't nothing wrong with having a fine ass average.
Imagine telling her, dude, yo, you got some good men right there, bro. That's wild.
Hey, listen, dog. People can say what as long as she's beautiful or he's beautiful to you, but we all know, man, like that's mid. But you know what's going to always sell in America? Mid will always sell, dog. Mid is selling to this day.
I mean, they're legalizing loud, though. They just, not in Florida, but, other states right now.
Shout out to New Jersey. Letting cops smoke weed. That would probably chill out a lot of this bullshit that's going on right now. Guys just knew.
They were doing that anyway.
But I'm saying, like, off duty, now you can't piss hot. You can really enjoy yourself off duty.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But, like, before, these cats was, like, all pent up and, because, again, if anybody wants to know, everybody thinks the weed dispensary looks like the hood. As a guy who's been to one, you know what the weed dispensary looks like?
What?
Fucking MAGA rally. Ain't nothing but old white people in them dispensaries, bro. I promise you. On God. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life.
You gotta go to different dispensaries, man.
No, it's black people, but I'm just saying when it first popped off.
Oh, you mean the customers? The customers or the people working there?
No, the customers.
Okay, yeah, the customers, you're right.
There's a bunch of old white people.
Hell.
And I was like, where are all these people who smoke? It's crazy. It just goes, anyway, people will vote vote against their self-interest. So another thing going on down with the NIL piece is that the athletic, who I just believe is against athletes in general. or they have some kind of agenda to scare the fuck out of people about capitalism. Because it just doesn't make sense. So what they're saying is college football's NIL arm race continues to soar. 3 recently signed contracts. A 4-star receiver signed a 4-year, $1 million deal. So that's $250,000 a year, which really isn't that out of the realm of possibility, but it's a high-end contract, right? Top 10 defensive lineman. He got a 3-year, $1 million deal, which means if he's a top 10 D lineman, he's probably a high-ranking 4-star. So that's about $330,000. A reach, but not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
A 3-star defensive lineman, a 4-year, $500,000 contract. I can promise you that a 3-star D lineman going to Alabama ain't getting $500,000.
Why do you say that?
Because they're getting 4 and 5 stars. Like they don't need the low. The low guys ain't like. So to put it in perspective, every year everybody talks about Bama, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they talk about Georgia, and they talk about these other schools. They talk about bagman. A bagman is a shadowy figure that pays college athletes to come to the school.
Bagman.
Yeah, bagman.
Okay, now I got.
So like they basically aren't giving you a check because that's illegal. They can be traced. They're giving you a bag full of cash.
And that's the person who we don't know.
And that's the person.
Names are off the books.
Oh, God! But let everybody tell you a story.
Mm.
Oh, well, I know for like it was stories about me. So let me tell you, my mom drove a Honda hatchback for most of my life, and then like around what was it? I think it was maybe I was like in 6th grade. She finally got a new car. Yeah, 6th grade. She got a 1996 because every car is green until recently because she AKA loves it. 1996, she got a Nissan Altima. Thought that bitch was clean. You couldn't tell me shit. We was live in the hood. We got a brand new car. She doesn't get a new car until I graduate from college. Graduate high school. So she goes and gets her a Honda Accord. And she gives me her Altima so that I can have transportation to and from. You know, people were saying that Florida State gave my mom a car for me to go there. People were like all this kind of stuff, and I'd be like, no, the motherfuckers didn't give me shit. I promise you, I wasn't good enough to get shit like that out of high school.
Yeah.
Wasn't nobody paying me like that. Now, there are players who got paid, and really, once you get a little older, you start making plays, the agents are the ones who are paying you this money. But like, folks are just seeing these numbers and they're getting scared. And like, how will we ever compete? And I'm like, what NILs are for and what it's designed for is players coming out of high school and high-profile transfers. And so what it does is when you're a high-profile transfer, so like the kid from Georgia who Florida State thought that they were going to get, Mims. Here's a guy who has all the attributes of a first-round talent at left tackle. We're going to go pitch to try to get him as good of a deal as possible. $500,000 to get him for 6 to 18 months. If that translates into 9 wins, into 10 wins, the revenue that the school gets is well worth it. The problem is that it's not for guys who are currently on the roster unless you're at Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, or programs that have done a really, really good job of marketing their athletes, meaning they're in major metros. Like Miami could probably really compete if they got the businesses around Miami to buy into it because you have Maserati dealerships. You have all these other different things. In college towns, you really have to get people to want to come there and they got to win. So that's really what it comes down to. But a lot of people are reading these deals and they're really thinking every kid is getting like $2-3 million fucking dollars. And the problem is I can tell you whatever I want, whatever you want to hear, but you're not reading the contract. And the contract is laden with escalators and you got to do this and ifs. And If ifs were a fifth, we'd all be drunk. It's not going to happen. It's just like NFL contracts have been up to this day, up to recently. NFL contract, you'll see such and such, whatever, Deshaun Watson, but you'll see whatchamacallit signs an $850 million contract or $85 million contract. You're reading $85 million.
I was going to say 850 mil. That's crazy.
That's soccer. That's
crazy.
That ain't happening. That's soccer or baseball. That ain't happening in football ever. You're reading, I say, $85 million over 5 years. That person's probably never going to see $85 million. What that person's going to see, though, is, $50 million. Yeah. $50 million guaranteed.
But we don't know that.
Yeah.
Well,
and they purposely post the number that's higher for the sensationalism. And I think a lot of it comes down to this still. And I'm going to always hammer this point in. If I were the top 2% of all podcasters, right? I'd be like Joe Rogan. I can say whatever the fuck I want to say. It's not going to affect my money. But I'd be uber rich, right? And you would say, James, you have earned that. You would say, James, this makes sense because you're one of the top 2%. But then maybe people will be like, I don't think you deserve that. Nobody should get that paid. Pay teachers and blah, blah, blah bullshit. Okay, fine. If I was the top 2% of all doctors and general practitioners, I get paid a lot. If I were the top 2% of a smaller field, I would get paid more money. If you're the top 2% of anything, you're going to expect to get paid because very few people can do what you do, no matter how visible it is. Just because you see sports as a game that children play, that your kids play, doesn't mean it is at this level. This is fucking entertainment. You got to be really, really good to be able to get in there. That's why I always laugh, and we've used it now as a term of endearment where people be like, the fullback said this. The fullback said that. The fullback did that. Bitch, you go try to do that shit. Like, you could make the joke and try to make it a fucking not. I did what only 2% of the population was able to do, and I was one of the 1% of the 2% to actually get a chance to go get a cup of coffee and some fucking beignets in New Orleans. I'm one of the few people to ever start at Florida State. And I say that because the reality is it ain't that many starters. My teammate Travis Johnson has put it in perfect perspective. There are only 30,000 people who have walked this earth who have played in the NFL. So now there's less of those than there are college students, but that's 2% of the population play college athletics across the board. That's not Power 5. That's not just G5. That is literally going from D1 all the way to NAIA. So it's not asinine to think that somebody's willing to pay somebody $1 million for being one of the top 2%. How about this? Don't be a loser and don't accept being average. And go do it on your own. And miss me with the college scholars because the colleges aren't paying this. Somebody else is paying you for a service. So the other side of it is you who makes $35,000 and gets a tax refund every year. No knock on that. I love it. My mom's like that. Are trying to compare yourself to somebody who has put hours of work in defining their body, but fuck that. Or trying to compare yourself to a multi-billion-dollar business that decides that they want to advertise with somebody who is one of the top 2% of the population. How dare you? If you were good at something, you would have that opportunity. And stop saying that they're being given. They are earning that shit. They earn that when they go to the 6 a.m. practices and they work their ass off and they do things that your child is not willing to do. They earn that. They get cussed out. They get yelled at. They give up summers. They give up vacations with family. They give up being able to hang out with their friends because there is something that they want to achieve and getting to the NFL that just means more to them. And it's a small window that you can do it. I heard it yesterday by my son's godfather, who's the head football coach at Mandarin High School. You got 4 years in high school to try to figure out if you're good enough to get another 4 years to play this game. And if you're that good enough to be considered one of the 2%, then damn it, God bless.
Mm-hmm.
Flourish, King. It's called capitalism, people.
Yeah.
Why the fuck are you afraid of capitalism? I'll tell you why you're afraid of capitalism. It's because this is an opportunity for people who do not look like you to be able to get on their feet and to be able to surpass you. And that's called hating. You may not recognize it, you may not understand it, but you are a fucking hater. Now, the schools that really hate it, I hear most of the complaints from my alma mater, we happen to not be very good right now. And we don't think we can compete. But again, I have information because of the other things that I am doing that states otherwise. We just have to compete for people to want to open their checkbook. But God damn it, if you thinking that you can't go out here and pay somebody $65,000 to $75,000 in an NIL deal, it may not be all cash, but you can get trade, you can get a lot of other stuff. And I'm having to educate guys who are in this position on how to do it. We had this, there's two, the LFL team we just showed, and it's funny because Facebook popped up on this day yesterday, 8 years ago. Me and Trey were hanging out at the Lingerie Football League game.
So Trey's 8?
Trey's 8. He'll be turning 9.
You took him to a lingerie football game
As a baby.
Listen, this is the problem with my son. And I'm telling you right now, the number is 3 million.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there, the number's 3 million if you want my son right now. You give me 3 million right now, he's committed to whatever school you got. But he's always been front row of everything that he's ever done his entire life. He does not know, or not if it's not front row, he's always been like the top of the top. The boy's been in first class in airplanes.
I haven't yet.
He's been like he's been on cruises. I haven't been to Cuba. He's been to Cuba. Like he's had a passport since he was 2.
Damn, I didn't get one of those.
He loves flying. He says things like, "Dad, can we just stay in the hotel? Because I really like to stay in hotels just to get a little change up." He had a PlayStation 5 when it first came out. He didn't have to wait. He got he's a good kid. He's a good kid, so Dad really tries to make sure that he has.
Well, when he gets sick of it, let me know. He wants to get the PS5.
So a funny
my
story.
PS4 is about on its last leg.
So funny story. Kenny Dillingham, the office coordinator at Oregon, was the office coordinator at Florida State. Yeah. I said, Trey's report card. I said, man, if this is a straight A's, I'm taking the goddamn PS5. So he got a 90. And I'm like, boy, I was getting ready. And then I put a tweet out, and Coach Dillingham retweets, and he's like, Twin Lakes Elementary School, such and such the science teacher. Let me make some phone calls and get that thing bumped down to 89.
That's agreed.
Because he's been trying to find he was trying to find a PS5, couldn't find one.
So he just called the teacher to lower the son's
grade.
And
I showed Trey. And I expect this from Killer. Didn't expect this from Trey. Stone cold. That's what Trey got also for that Christmas. And this is, I don't really have to spank my kids anymore. We have high-powered Nerf guns. I just shoot them. So, I ain't got time to chase Killer, but I got good aim. If you can start seeing some of these guns videos. So I just point and just shoot them. And it could go 120 feet.
Yeah.
So that thing got some gas in it, so it give him a little pop. It's not trying to hurt him. Just trying to make sure he understands that Dad sees what the fuck you're doing. And you need to stop. And this is the first step before we get some real pain. Trey was acting like these are some real guns. Mm-hmm. He's like, shoot, I just got a bunch of guns, man. I would have had to bring Ward to where he stayed. And I was just like, oh shit. Fucking love that answer, son. Yeah. Good job. Love you.
I would have to bring Ward.
He was like, he was ready. He was ready. He was going to bring Ward to Dope Campbell Stadium.
Yeah, that's honestly, I got to put that on the arsenal. That's gangster.
Like Jet said it smooth as shit too. He been in he's been in a couple fights, but he been in the shootout before. That was like his granddaddy right there. That was some shit. But here's what people are saying too, and they're trying to make it to where it's scary. If you're a great player like you're Bryce Young after the national championship last year, you should go in the portal. Even if you wanted to stay at Alabama, Because all you'll do is drive up the price there, because then the collectives, they'll suddenly come with a lot of money, Alabama people to keep you. So what would any player do? The opt in the free agency every year, they would do it, test the market, get the most out of what you could. And you know what? What the so fucking what? You mean they're gonna pull a player will pull a Jimbo Fisher? He'll do what coaches do every year, testing the market. You mean to tell me they're gonna come out and be they're gonna have agents do their job? Like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all, man? Why don't I really honestly want to know, like, if somebody can really truly tell me, why are you so against capitalism? You vote every year talking about liberal bullshit. You vote all the time talking about this. But the 1 minute that you can actually get some good capitalism and people can balance the scales, now you're afraid. Now you don't want to watch college football. Now it's ruining the game. When you were talking about Bagman for the last 5 years. So if Bagman existed 5 years ago, what is fucking different right now? The fact that it's legal? Technically, it was never illegal, but like the NCAA governing body, said that you couldn't do this. I want you to realize what you sound like. And I'm not even going to say you sound racist. It's too easy. You sound like an old ass hater. Like, God put you on this earth to be anything that you wanted to be. And what you decided to be was an old washed hater. And that's not cool, man. Nobody wants to see that shit. You're going out sad. Really sad. And again, I love the fact that these young men out here pushing and making money, and getting bread, man. Again, if coaches can get paid $10 million a year to coach, I don't see a problem with a couple guys. Because even with some of these, again, the shout out Rising Spear, right? They're paying cats $250 an appearance to go play with some kids at the Boys and Girls Club for an hour. That's for anybody. You should have to be signed up. You know what my ass would have been doing as a fullback? What? I'd have been out there just playing with some babies. I'd have been the alopecia fund, man.
Yeah.
Shining heads, man.
That's wild.
I'd have been getting out there, dog.
Shining kids.
Yeah, I'd have been just hanging out.
You got some turf right there. Let me get that off.
Yeah, man. Hold up. Come here, little boy. Come here, little cue ball. Yeah. There we go. Shaking baby, little magic 8 ball.
Yeah.
Am I gonna get my NIL money? Just
let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, because obviously, the bigger NIL conversations go for the kids who are, the bigger talents and bigger stars and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like every single athlete on that team should have some form of NIL deal, or do you feel like, hey, sometimes, kids, you just got to work up for it. You got to work into it.
You got to work into it. I think now what I do think is that universities are collecting.
Some kids have big deals. Some kids, probably looking like, all right, what the hell? They got all this stuff.
the fuck is the visor changing upon the years? If it's not, okay, maybe it's still a coincidence. Fair. I wore wristbands on my left elbow and my right. Actually, on my left elbow, and I had a black elbow sleeve on my right. Why does the motherfucker have a wristband on his left elbow and an elbow sleeve on his right?
Yeah.
Even to the cleats that I goddamn wore. I wore speed TDs 2 years, and I wore Vapors my last year. They changed the fucking shoes to the goddamn Vapors. I'm not talking about what I went in, where people go in and personalize. This is literally the stock player that you're getting. Like, you're only lying to yourself if you believe that this shit ain't rigged. Imagine what I could have done being ranked in the video game. Like, people actually used to say, like, my sophomore year, my cousin was like, man, you suck. You were 65 on the video game. They didn't care that I started and all this shit. Now, when I became a 93 on the video game that next year, oh, you gonna be good. But imagine me being able to come off of that success. I joke with people say, like, imagine me in Tallahassee in 2005. I scored the only touchdown against the University of Miami, Labor Day, prime time. You ready, Mom?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, that's a completely different feel. I mean, our first one went there, and then I got lazy and then went over. But then when I read,
yeah, you put most of them in there. I got 2, 4, 6. So yeah, that's pretty good shooting though, right there. ready, Mom?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, that's a completely different feel. I mean, our first one went there, and then I got lazy and then went over. But then when I read,
yeah, you put most of them in there. I got 2, 4, 6. So yeah, that's pretty good shooting though, right there.
You ready, Mom?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, that's a completely different feel. I mean, our first one went there, and then I got lazy and then went over. But then when I read,
yeah, you put most of them in there. I got 2, 4, 6. So yeah, that's pretty good shooting though, right there.
You ready, Mom?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, that's a completely different feel. I mean, our first one went there, and then I got lazy and then went over. But then when I read,
yeah, you put most of them in there. I got 2, 4, 6. So yeah, that's pretty good shooting though, right there.
Mom?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, that's a completely different feel. I mean, our first one went there, and then I got lazy and then went over. But then when I read,
Yeah, you put most of them in there. We got two.
you ready, Mom?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, that's a completely different feel. I mean, our first one went there, and then I got lazy and then went over. But then when I read,
Yeah, you put most of them in there. We got 2, 4, 6. So yeah, that's pretty good shooting though, right there.
The audio was there, it was just not coming from the right place, and then I said stop.
you ready, Mom?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, that's a completely different feel. I mean, our first one went there, and then I got lazy and then.
Alright.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Oh man, you know what? I would say this, man. I was a little upset at first, but like, damn, that's kind of cool. Like, we can actually put something in now when we having technical difficulties.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
Yeah, put a
dope.
little-
Shout out to Miles.
Yeah.
Miles is a wizard over there with that laptop.
Yeah, that was kind of cool, man. I don't remember where I was at. I think I was telling people that they're haters and they hate capitalism, so they're communists if they don't want to see little colored kids get paid. But we'll move on from there. And I guess might as well, since you just saw me shooting, we'll go on to 8 o'clock. Unless, did you have any other stuff about it? Because I
I'm with you.
completely forgot.
Let's hit on some stuff.
But yes, I think I have got some good stuff to hate on. But 8 o'clock brought to you by Green Acre Sporting Goods. Green Acre Sporting Goods, go to outdoor shop. They got all kinds of stuff, man. What you just saw me shooting was a little snub nose 38.
That was a Taurus.
I mean 380, excuse me. It was a Taurus. Yeah, Taurus is the model. I mean, it's the company. 380 was the model. You know, something I really hate, right, is I'm learning. I like guns. I'm learning to like guns. I want to learn how to shoot a lot of different guns. Ain't nobody more bougie than a bunch of than the gun community sometimes. Like the first thing, like, oh man, you gotta hold that thing right. I'm like, man, I am with a guy who's got over 30 years of fucking experience. If I was about to hurt myself, you know what he's probably gonna tell me? Hey, do that. His most important thing that Z's all about is, can you point and aim that shit? Because it's kind of like this. It's like with football. I can try to teach a running back there is a proper way to hold the ball when you run, right? But if you're not fumbling, I'm really not going to harp on it that much.
Yeah.
Just don't fucking fumble. Like, if I have to ever use this thing, I got to be in a situation where I feel comfortable and I'm going to shoot it the way that's the most comfortable for me. And I'm pretty fucking accurate for a guy who can't see past his hand. Like, I literally need glasses, and I just don't wear them. But it ended up, the 380, like, the goal is to stop somebody. It's not to win a fucking fashion contest. Like, 380 is probably not somebody my size should not just be out here showing off 380s. But if you got a wife, if you got a child, kids, like a starter gun, it's a great gun. Give it to them. And you know what what I learned? Like, I put, people are liking my IGs, Miles, when I put the music behind it. So when I got it, it reminded me like of this. Plies has a song called Ritz Calling. Everybody knows it as Ran Off on the Plug Twice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And he was
I
like,
ain't calling back.
He was like, I got a Delta go to Howard. That little pussy got some power. So like, when I shot it, I'm like, yo, this is what Plies was talking about with that Delta that went to Howard. Like, that little thing got some stopping power. We also shot a 22. Again, I saw a video of a father out in the woods trying to teach his son how to shoot. I believe it was an AR-15. Kid had to be 8 years old. I got news for you. Don't do it. Like, the gun clearly, the kid could not hold it. And the kickback literally almost killed the kid. And what was scary is the kid swung the gun in the direction after the kickback of where everybody else was. So if that kid didn't take his finger off the trigger, somebody could have seriously got injured. This 22, though, is something that I would feel good about giving the trait. And I remember somebody on social media said, that ain't nothing but a glorified cap gun. And I said, why don't you stand in front of it? I said, everybody got something to say, man. The goal of guns is not to go out here and, win fashion battles. Can the fucking gun do the job? That's what I need to know. And if it's well placed, it can. And I don't think you put this one on here, but I would like. And I also shot a Glock 18 fully automatic.
Oh, I don't know. Should we?
I mean, we can show it, but like we'll show it on our social media.
Okay.
You can't. Unless you're JSO, you can't buy it, or some kind of law enforcement people. But I'll say this: it was you can respect the gangster. It's like everybody say they want a big booty until they come up on a big booty. Sometimes the big booty throws itself back a little bit more than what you can handle. You weren't ready. You weren't braced.
Yeah.
You saw it, and you were in awe. You knew you could handle it, but you just weren't sure what you were up against.
You didn't know that your handle it was like 10 seconds, and then it's like it's like, all right, we out here.
And in the reggae club.
And that exactly. And when that motherfucker put it on you, man, and they threw it bike, that bitch bike you up. And that's what that Glock does, man. That thing. I was sitting there on the video of dead serious. You'll see me like, okay, I'm going to squeeze the trigger now. Because he told me 30 bullets, 3 seconds. He said, he's like, aim it low, it's going to rise on you. And I could have controlled it a little bit better, but like, it's really at about 1.5 seconds. You see me just back up like, yo, I am still shooting. And this shit is not stopping.
Yeah.
And I was kind of afraid because what I was afraid was that I ain't wanted it to go all over the place because he also told me a story of a former Jaguar player in that same range that went out shooting. And they literally had to change their shooting range because he let that thing spray and it went all the way up and it shot in the air over the thing. Oh. So like they have no, and again, you're responsible for where the bullets land. But for my guys who've been asking a lot of questions, I did some research. So this is me. A lot of 420, a lot of weed smokers. Nothing wrong with that. I'm glad you enjoy it. Hopefully one day they will fight for weed and drugs as much as they fight for the Second Amendment.
Yeah. I gotta bring this up real quick. So you know how everyone's erupting over the Deebo Samuel stuff right now?
Yeah.
Everyone on in our media, Jaguars media here in Jacksonville and stuff. Like we love Deebo. We need Deebo here. UCF Jaguar goes. We don't need Debo. We have Debo at home. And
It's
he goes,
clearly-
the Debo at home is a
Yeah.
picture of LaVishka Chenault.
It was a dropping something. Like, he clearly was. I said yesterday. Hopefully, me and Miles will be able to get this up. Like, hear me out. We have the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
We know Aiden's ass. We know. Okay.
Go ahead. Awesome.
I saw this to go. Let me give it. All right, anyway, fuck it. 8 o'clock. Green Acres, go check them out.
Mm-hmm.
My 8 o'clock is you motherfuckers is lying. Y'all are about to make me have to go into a space that I really didn't want to get into.
What?
We are going to, hopefully, and I can get Miles to edit this, we're going to go raw. I don't need that shit pretty. We ain't got no, matter of fact, the sponsor is going to be Goodfellas and James Coleman, Amika Nopi 1851, fifth quarter, whatever the fuck I feel like needs to be advertised at that point. Y'all motherfuckers lying about these kids, these people that y'all want to draft. And y'all making up shit. One of these cats literally put up that he watched the Michigan versus Georgia game. And Michigan got dominated, but Aiden Hutchinson did not get dominated. And I was aghast. I said, who is lying here on this day? Thus the day the Lord has made. So I went and I said, you know what? I'll be a Huckleberry. I ain't got shit to do. I want to go watch. I want to subject myself to watching another massacre. I'm going to watch Michigan versus Georgia.
Oh.
I watched the first 4 drives. This motherfucker didn't make a play. Not a play. And this isn't even going to the fact that some of my friends were just looking at stuff where this man literally in the same game. Like, I have a thing called Hit 'em with the Hymns that I haven't done recently. I'm going to give Aiden Hutchinson a Hit 'em with the Hymns. My man was old school, Southern Baptist. Summer afternoon in deep South Georgia, where it's 95 degrees, and this young black apostle from the University of Georgia baptized this motherfucker into the water. I'm talking about it was an aggressive baptism. Like, he took the back of his shirt, because inside you can't really see, but he like got that hand like right here on his back, and he took that other hand and he put it right on his chest. He drove the shoulder pads into his neck. And all you can hear is, take me to the wall. And then he just, boom, put his head in the ground. And I sat back and thought, these fucking pilgrims are capping for this dude to be the first overall pick. And you got this man getting his head planted into the damn stadium turf. And then they're just lying egregiously for no reason. You can say, I like him. He's a good player. I think he will be a good pro. Fine. But goddamn, these people are... The comparisons are incredible. Remember how I said the top 2% play college sports? The top 1% go to the leagues. The 1% of that 1% are white that play in the league. The 1% of those 1% that are elite that we all know, you can't compare them to these guys. The only comparison is that they are white. They're comparing him to the Bosa brothers. I don't even like one Bosa brother is so good that people think he's racist and everybody bonds with him because he's that fucking good. Because nobody cares in the locker room if you're that good.
Yeah.
They compared him to Jared Allen. He's a fucking Hall of Famer. Jared Allen's one of the coldest white boys to ever play this game. But I did something a little trivial. Like to see what people really, really know. Comparing these guys. And my little comparison was, I put the stats up of guys who were asked for 2 years and magically became good their last year. And sometimes people will say, scheme type of school, blah, blah, blah. So different schools, but same conference, right? So I got a really good, sample of work, right? Mm-hmm. Both out of Big Ten. Now, here is Hutchinson's numbers. His freshman year, he got 0 sacks. His sophomore year, he got 3.5 sacks. He had 10 tackles for loss. Not a bad sophomore. His COVID year, his junior year, he got 0 sacks. Last year, which technically was his COVID junior year still, he got 14 sacks. 17.5 sacks total, 27.5 tackles for loss. That's this young man that everybody's comparing to Bosa and blah, blah, blah. So there's another Big Ten defensive end. Did not play his freshman year. He got 1 sack his sophomore year, 1 sack his junior year, 15.5 sacks his senior year, 19.5 tackles for loss, 24 tackles for loss in his career, 17.5 total sacks in his career. And I asked people who this person was. A couple of them, I don't know if they cheated, but they found it. That guy's name, this guy was in the news recently because he's one of the first NFL players to come out as actively gay. His name is Carl Nessick from Syracuse. Not from Syracuse. His brother played at Syracuse. He played at Penn State. Came out in 2015. He was a third round draft. That's who he compares to, guys. That's the truth. You draft this guy in the 3rd round. You don't draft him the 1st overall fucking pick because he had a little bit of success in a year. And when you finally saw him play against comparable, like the SEC is what the measuring stick is. He didn't just not make a play. He fucking disappeared.
Yeah.
He was nowhere to be found. To put a quote out about him from an SEC school, pick which one you think it is. We didn't even prepare for him.
That's wild. Yeah. I mean,
I'm saying, like, dog.
Yeah, it seems
your best player, the #1, talked about to be the #1 overall pick. A college coordinator said we didn't even prepare for him because we did not fear him. The #1 overall pick is supposed to be afraid. Mario Williams I had battles with him. That was a bad motherfucker. He was the 1st overall pick. Reggie Bush was in that year. That's a bad motherfucker. He was the 3rd pick. I forgot who the 2nd overall pick was. But it was 3 bad motherfuckers in college. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
Ain't a bad motherfucker in this draft, but that doesn't mean you go draft Carl Nassib.
Yeah. There's been a lot more talk and a lot more mocks about it not even being Aiden Hutchinson, it being Trayvon Walker.
And again,
that is going on.
Again, Trayvon Walker is Aiden Hutchinson is a 1st round pick. I do want to put that out. Trayvon Walker is a 1st round pick. And my GT we have our discussions about it. He doesn't necessarily think he should be the 1st pick. I understand the athleticism and I understand the gifting. You don't draft a guy with 6 sacks. I don't give a fuck if he was on a defense full of cats. Florida State during the 90s, in the early 2000s, was a defense full of cats. You could definitely see who the #1 guys were. When they had Peter Boulware and Raynard Wilson, both of them were like #1 and #3 in the nation when it came to sacks. There's enough fucking sacks to go around for everybody. Like, you got to go out there and get it. Jordan Davis is a motherfucker. Like, if you told me you want to take Jordan Davis #1 and he didn't have that many sacks, I can see why. The knock would have been against him against Alabama in the SEC championship. But then when you watch him in the Natty,
yeah,
whew.
That's what I was gonna say, man. Like that's a name that nobody has put at #1. Everyone got questions and arguments. Why not Jordan Davis?
Why not?
Who you hate the Aiden pick and Trayvon. Who would you? We always got to come back to that.
I'll go with Evan Neal or Ike Ngangwe, whatever the fuck his name. Boy from NC State. Wow, you said that I don't even know if that's the way you say it, but that sounded really.
I was mad confident.
I'm convinced. Like the way you said that, like I bet he would come in here and be like, "Well, that's wrong." But the way you said it,
I've only seen the name on Twitter.
The real reason why is because, man, who the fuck? Like, when did people start being confident in Cam Robinson? The toughest thing Cam Robinson did was stand up to a 5-foot, 115-pound, maybe, probably 95. She's been having vacation now, so she's been snacking. She's still small. Mia O'Brien. That's the toughest thing that he did.
Did we say she been snacking?
No, like, she's gonna
Like, I'm glad. Like, no,
I missed that.
I don't mean it like that. Like, Mia's petite. Like, I was just like Mia's really small. Like, I'm like, yo, Mia, like,
you want to say that, you better stop snacking.
Mia, no, it's not how I say it. Mia, go get some pumpkin spice loaf on me, sweet. Like, damn, dog. I ain't go, man. Listen, Mia, the only person at that station that I fuck with. I'm even like that's like, I like Mia with Tintin. I'm defending the fuck out of Mia because people mad at her like she took the sports den off there. No, don't be mad at her. Don't be mad at Hacker.
Oh, no,
like it wasn't them.
Yeah.
Hit Steve Griffin up. Hit whoever else. I don't know who's in charge. But yeah, that wasn't even really my head o'clock. Like it just bothers me. It chafes my balls, man.
You got
like,
real upset. You got real hatred out right there, man.
Like,
when you first started, you were mad.
Like, yo, like, I just want to know what y'all see. I guess
we see less than you.
Right.
I'll say that. Speaking from somebody who is a fan of this, I feel like I always assume that the way I understand something as a casual is the way other casuals understand it. You know what I mean? Okay. Does that make sense? And so I feel like I don't know what the fuck it means. All I know is what they're putting out. And I gotta believe, obviously you gotta filter through some stuff, but I gotta believe, the sources I trust and what's coming out. And that's my opinion that I'm rolling with if I don't know as much as someone like you who can watch it and analyze it from a different manner. And the thing about me that makes it different from everyone is that I have a filter on shit that I don't even know that I know or that I got from somebody else. If I got it from somebody else, I'm going to hold. I'm not going to just say it all confident and stuff, but that's what casuals do. You hear something, you see what someone says, oh, that was a good point. I'm going to adopt that into my philosophy. Right. Let me make sure people know that I got this.
You know how to, proper punctuation and grammar, that you must know what the fuck you're talking about. And no, they don't. They can watch stuff, but again, they do not understand what it is they're watching. And instead of just saying and the problem is, I say all that to say, the joke is about the Aiden Hutchinson thing. That came from a guy who's played in the league 9 years. At least just tell me you're getting paid. You don't have to tell me, you're not telling me you're getting paid without telling me you're getting paid. I talked to Aiden Hutchinson's agent. And then this is then I went back. Now I know, oh, you're doing this because somebody asked you to do because it doesn't make sense, bro. These names don't make sense. And if you make that, if Garbage Ben Balky or Trent, whatever the fuck your name is, does this shit, man, I just really question if you really care about the Jags. And I don't care. I care because it makes my job easier. But now I got to go through and look at these top 10 guys that everybody's talking about getting mocked. And the person who I like the most out of all of them is Jermaine Johnson. But I know you can't draft Jermaine Johnson number 1 overall for a lot of the same reasons that I'm talking about these other guys. The difference is he had 6 sacks the previous year. And so his blow up wasn't just overnight. It just happened to be the fact that he wasn't sharing a lot of the stats, but he's still a top 10 pick. I'd rather you go get a wide receiver. I'd rather you go get somebody that's going to be a 5 to 7 year starter here. For the Jaguars, somebody that people are going to realize and remember in a few fucking years, man. What I'm tired of is you guys drafting a bunch of people that are reaches and projects, and then expecting the fans to come out and support a product that is piss poor. You have a good coach in Doug Peterson who has a tremendous amount of respect in the league. You need to get him the right pieces that he can fucking build around. That's why I said go out and get Deebo. Trade the first overall pick. Go get Deebo Samuel. Overpay his ass. I don't care. But the reality is that you need to make this work because other pieces are working in other places. You didn't draft bad. You just had piss poor leadership and guidance. You got a guy, Jalen Ramsey, out here living his fucking best life in LA in mariachi suits and shit. Being as sassy as he wants to be. But his sassy ass could have been here happy and content. Taking comedians' girlfriends.
First of all, you didn't have to go there. Okay.
Oh, that being said, man, Green Acres Sports.
Hey, I was
Did I talk
reg-
about the
nah,
marijuana
I was-
license thing?
I was regular when he took her. Listen, I'm back now. We up out here. Try that again.
Do the Miles thing. Like, just he
I'm
on
back, we up.
podcast, he doing other shit. Like,
I got some stuff behind my name now. Come out here.
Stock is rising. But a lot of that's where I was getting at before.
You gotta explain the marijuana.
Yeah, you got before you got me mad talking about fucking Aiden Hutchinson. Man. Fuck
You
Aiden
got
Hutchinson,
you,
man.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I was just joking. That'd be a hell of a song. Like, matter of fact, fuck Aiden Hutchinson and everything he stand for. And you're like, what the fuck did I do to him? Like, I just wasn't any good. Like, I didn't mean it. I didn't try to not be good.
Yeah.
Nah, he's nowhere near. It's impossible for you to be anywhere near as bad as Taven Bryan. So,
Yeah, Taven. I feel like I could have had Taven same production at his position in the NFL.
who somehow managed to get another contract before I don't understand this shit. But marijuana license is based upon my research, right? It just all depends on how truthful you want to be in life. There are people who can't sleep at night if they don't tell a righteous lie. Because I mean, a lot of people, won't tell people about Santa Claus, but you'll tell people that a virgin gave birth to somebody after she got a train ran on her by two angels.
Oh, oh Lord.
Jesus Christ. What is happening?
So basically, here it is. If you have a marijuana card and you're honest, so there's state and federal. Having a license to carry buying a gun is federal. Your license to carry goes state by state. So, in the state of Florida, you can have a license if you have a marijuana card. Unfortunately, to have a license, you have to be able to, it doesn't make sense to not purchase a gun. You cannot purchase a gun because on the federal form, you have to check that you are that you're using an illegal substance or you're addicted to. Are you using an illegal drug? And if you're using it, they consider it being addicted because federally marijuana is still illegal. Now, they run a background check on you. Because of HIPAA, it is illegal for them to put on your background check any medications that you take. So if you have a medical marijuana card, you're medically taking marijuana. So if you don't check it and nobody knows, if a tree falls in the wood, doesn't make a noise. Like, they would literally have to catch you and do some other stuff. It's just up to you how important it is to have that gun. But if you don't check the box and you go and you purchase a weapon and that person does not know that you have a medical card and they sell it, they're not liable. Now, that's just on you. But because when they do a background check, all it does is have your criminal history. And so as long as your criminal history is clear, you'll get passed for a gun if you have a medical marijuana card. If you check the box on the federal form that you have it, you're not going to be able to purchase a gun. Now, I just want to make this clear. If you have a medical card and you don't check that box, you are lying to the federal government. And if you get caught, you will be prosecuted. It's just, will they catch you? I don't know. It's up to you. But I know a lot of people have been asking that question. So I asked around a lot. And hey, that's what we got with that. But on that note, it's really, I don't really know why I was so upset at Taven, but that's it.
Aiden.
That's why I was upset at Aiden because he reminds me of Taven. Oh, one more thing. People being upset. Nobody has more righteous anger than old white. Jerry West. Make sure I'm saying that the right way because he's the logo. I want to make sure I give him his proper. Yep, Jerry West, former executive for the LA Lakers. And when I say the logo, I mean literally Jerry West is the NBA logo. Is upset about his depiction in a fictional narrative of what the Showtime Lakers was like. that comes on HBO that is actually really, really good. And if you really think about it, everybody is depicted in the worst possible light in this show.
I mean, I could see why you're pissed if it's fictional. You're lying.
Well, no, but I mean,
it's in the words.
But what I'm saying is fiction. It's literally an embellishment. It's called Winning Time. Is the name of the show.
I haven't seen it yet, so I won't speak much on it. But.
And I'm trying to read where it's based on a book that was written about. Okay, it's based on a book written by Jeff Pearlman. Showtime, Magic, Kareem, Riley, and the Los Angeles Lakers dynasty of the 1980s. So basically what they're depicting him as is a drunk, angry man that did not want Magic Johnson. Now, I can see why nobody would want to be that because, I mean, who wouldn't want Magic Johnson? But do you know what they're showing Magic? Do you know how they're depicting Magic Johnson, though?
I haven't seen the show, man.
Lots of sex.
Magic Johnson was a fucking addict. Not just sex. So, like, this may sound sexist, but, like I don't know how to decide, but, like, you know, everybody likes head, right? So, like, head is amazing. I think a lot of problems in the world can be solved if, you know,
good head.
It's good. Yeah, you're right. Bad head is bad.
You can't.
So it's hard for. It's really hard. Like, it's hard to have bad head.
Yeah, I'll take it.
You just gotta be lazy. You gotta be lazy.
All right. Well, I'll let you cook. I'll let you do what you. Maybe the older generation of women.
No. What I'm saying is no. I'm with you. Like, if you don't give good head, you're a terrible person. As a woman.
Okay, that's a little extreme.
Like, no, like you need to be shooken, not stirred. You need to be shooken, and you need to go properly find a good training manual. Like, there's all kinds of things you can Google, research. Y'all so open and shit, talking about all kind of fucking shit with sex. Talk to your friends about how to properly suck a dick. If that's happening, Bobby, I feel bad for you. You younger women should be fucking ashamed of yourselves. If this is what you're going around, this is why I told you. Fuck these young chicks. Go get you an older woman, get you some good head and some peach cobbler. It'll completely change your outlook on life. These women can't. Oh my God. Yeah, I was fuck that. Trey, Killer, you need to be open with your father. Because if these women ain't cooking and can't do nothing else, son, we're going to the Build a Bitch workshop and get you a good Dominican woman.
That's funny.
But anyways, men should do it too. Reciprocation is key, but it's just not as like right now. It's not as open like for men to just do it all the time like that to anybody. They got it seeming like Magic is just it. Oh, nice woman. I'm gonna eat her out. Like, he's literally eating every chick that he's seen out. He also has a scene where he literally, like, Cookie was trying to live her best life and be a great woman, a non-AIDS married, not HIV married to HIV type of woman. And not only does Magic go find her new boyfriend on a basketball court, he proceeds to destroy and demolish this man systematically. And he is talking to him about what he has done to Cookie, and how he will never measure up. Do you know how embarrassing that must be? Like, a man is literally backing you down and telling you, yeah, see how you moving like that? That's how I be having Cookie. Cookie's mine. Like, it's just wow. So Magic looks like a dick, flashy, and all these different things. So what I say all that to say is, I don't really think any of them are magically being depicted very well. The only person who's mad is fucking Jerry West. It's just like the dude from the NWA movies. Like, the only person who got mad in that whole movie was the old white man, Jerry Heller, because he was like, I wasn't that bad. I'm going to sue Ice Cube and Dr. Dre for talking about me bad. It's a fucking movie, bro. It is fictional. It is Hollywood. One thing we all know is no matter how true the story is, they got to sprinkle some extra shit in there. Yeah. One thing I haven't seen, I know, I'm not against it. I want to put this, I'm the one who's telling people that when they start teaching my son about lesbians in school, I'm going to show up. So I'm all for the consonants. But, like, a lot of times they just sprinkle gay in everything. Like it's a condiment. Like, oh, this is a good, like if they did the life story of James Coleman. Ain't nothing gay in James Coleman's story, but all of a sudden I'll be like,
we're gonna put it in.
They're gonna put some gay in.
We're gonna find somewhere.
They're gonna sprinkle a little. Yeah, this is missing something.
That final touchdown he scored it at Florida State against Miami.
They're gonna
in
put
the
like
end zone. He sprinkled gold dust in the air.
No, they're gonna put that team. I did not have a gay teammate that I know of.
They shot rainbows out of the
game.
cannon.
They're gonna put a gay teammate on there. Like actually, there is gay. My godbrother, Jarrell is gay. They're gonna make sure Jarrell has an important role, a more important role.
Yeah, every time he scored, they're gonna zoom in on him on the sideline.
Yeah, he's gonna like have pom poms and shit. And that's not how Jarrell was, man. Jarrell is not was. He's still here. Jarrell is actually like, cool as shit. I love Jarrell.
The FSU Jumbotron that says big game with a rainbow every time he scores.
I'm just saying, like, it's fiction, though. It's already made. You're not gonna stop it. They're not gonna redo edits. Just be happy people are talking about you. And they're saying that it deviated from the book a lot, but like it's a lot of things that deviated from books, man. It's for entertainment. And if they're not really making you seem like you're this racist sociopath, is it really bad? You're like almost dead, bro. Like, just relax, man. Your legacy is intact. You're a Hall of Famer. The people who know you love you. The people who didn't like you, trust me, this show ain't gonna make them like you anymore. I just think control what you can control, like what you can like, and everything else is bullshit. So on that note, a lot of cool shit happened today. Broke an NIL story, broke down the NIL, really besmirched and hated on a potential Jaguar, and we actually were able to handle a hiccup. Fucked up our live views more than likely, but the Facebook Live is going to be continuous, so that'd be dope. So, and people who are going to be listening to it on StreamYard probably gonna be confused as fuck right now. But we'll make sure We'll make sure you have a warning in there, man. But appreciate you guys. We'll see you on Friday. Stay tuned for a lot more data. We still need you to be able to go to the YouTube Den Media Group. Make sure you're checking that out. We need to get to those 4,000 watched hours. I know we may be over it, maybe close. Really don't give a fuck. But if you could just literally just go to playlist, push shuffle, and just let that bad boy run, we would greatly appreciate you. That's how you can support with your time. You can support with your talent. If you know somebody who wants to advertise, they have a following that actually comes to support them. Always looking for advertisers. So that's your talent and your treasure. When we have these events, when we have these different showcases, we'll have a comedy show again in May, more than likely. We'll keep those things coming. We'll have a live show here. Your treasure is always important, but at the end of the day, make sure you share, tell a friend, and support Den Media Group, as well as maybe Bobby, as well as a lot of other different things we got going on. So appreciate you guys. Love you. Look out for more content on the way.
You ready, Mom?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, that's a completely different feel. I mean, our first one went there, and then I got